Good morning, mortgage coaches. Welcome to our Tuesday sales call. We do this every week on Tuesday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. And for today's call, Dave Savage is actually in the trenches right now, so I'm going to be helping to host this call. And I'll be introducing shortly a couple more people that have some ideas to share with you. But for today's call, we're going to be talking mainly about the open house presentation. So to help me co-pilot the call today, I've got Dan Keller with me. I'll bring him in just a minute so that he can talk a little bit about some of the strategies he's using in the field, but do have a little bit of housekeeping to do before we get into the call. As you know, Dave usually hosts this call. I'll be taking over for Dave today, but Dave has prepared some statements for me to help give out to you guys and help deliver some leadership. My name is Jacob Gibbs. I head up our support and IT department here at Mortgage Coach, and certainly if you guys, you might be familiar with me, I answered a lot of support questions for many years for you, and every once in a while I jump in and do one of the training sessions to try and help out the crew, so that's where we're at today. So just some background here, make sure to join all of our calls on Tuesdays. You can see that we bring in industry guests every single Tuesday, and there's new and interesting ideas, there's strategies, and certainly actionable items. And if you ever need to see these, we actually archive all of them. So if you hit help from within your edge, you can get to our support center, which has our coaching call archive. And every single one of these Tuesday sales calls has been archived in there, so you can go back and watch those at your leisure. Furthermore, they're also in our YouTube channel. So make sure to like us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, so you can follow us and just really see, you know, anytime we post something new, you'll automatically get notified about it, and you'll be right on top of it. So I want to remind everybody, make sure to not only view, but I want you to pass this out, the Ken De Leon call and the Simon Sinek call. Marcy's going to be dropping some links in the chat for you. Feel free, and actually I encourage you, share these links with your realtor partners. One, there's going to be some great items that just kind of they kind of speak to you and what kind of value proposition you offer to your realtor partners. But furthermore, they really talk about things like, you know, what is it that makes good business work together? And if you watch the Simon Sinek call, there's some great insights on there on choosing the kind of people you work with. So these are two excellent videos to be able to send to your realtor partners. So I would highly encourage everybody, grab that link, forward it on your social media, include it in emails, wherever you got to put it, but there's certainly going to be some huge value for your partners. Now, Simon actually shared this on his Facebook page, and this has actually been getting a lot of hits. So people are watching this constantly. That's the YouTube link up top there. Marcy has also put it in the chat for us. But if you're following our Facebook page, you can certainly feel free to share that as well. All right, so as you guys know, part of our mission here at Mortgage Coach is we want to get you away from fee worksheets. You know, you can see the screen I've got in front of me right now. There's, you know, any number of fee worksheets and just individual creations that people have put together to try and explain the numbers. And at Mortgage Coach, since 1997, we've been trying to demystify these numbers. So the fee worksheet, it's really a thing of the past, and we've got to get into the new mode of how to deliver these. And instead of a fee worksheet, you want to deliver a modern Mortgage Coach experience. And the way to do that is all about mobile. And there's no age range for this. Everybody who is in the market to buy a house, a good majority of them have smartphones, have tablets, and they choose to consume this kind of thing on their mobile devices. So make sure that you're positioning mobile as your main strategy. You're going to be able to show things like comparisons over time. You can include video, and it's available on any Android or iOS device, and it'll prompt them to actually download the app so they can experience this. But part of what we talk about here is we want to make sure that as you're talking to realtor partners, to new prospects, that you're really delivering this mobile experience to your realtor partners so that, one, they can share it with the people that they're talking to, and two, it's really cool technology, and people are always wowed when they see this. So you can show things like, you can see here, I've got an iPhone up and it's just showing total monthly payments. So we're going to dispel the myth on what the payments are. You know, we're going to talk about this in front of realtor partners. We're going to demonstrate what this looks like. And of course, it's shareable. So anytime you put one of these out, you want to make sure you've got a video on your presentation, because your video will follow your presentation no matter where it goes, whether you're sharing it on social media, whether you're emailing it to somebody. And in fact, the last thing you want to do is be victim to the telephone game where somebody's trying to interpret your device. And as you can see from the graphic here, there's many people in the loan process that are going to help your borrower make a decision. The last thing you want to do is, you know, to have somebody undercut the experience and education you're trying to deliver because they really don't know. You are the expert in the mortgage. Now today we're actually, we've discussed that you can show comparisons, cost over time, get debt free faster, but what are we focusing on today? It's the ultimate open house experience. Now many of you have been using our open house presentations for quite some time and you've kind of seen the evolution of it. But if you've looked at it recently, you've seen that we've actually modified the layout. And you can see here on an iPhone, it actually looks a lot tighter now. You still got the co-branding, but everything really fits nicely on it. And I would highly encourage you to get involved with these and start creating these for your realtor partners. Now, when you get into the mobile, you can see that you can break down into all the elements that you can in the browser, things like property features. You can do video narration and, nice and seamless. So we're going to talk a little bit more about how you can use this at open houses, because I'm going to actually bring in some guests here in a couple of minutes that are going to talk about what they're doing with the open house presentation and actually how they're using the mobile presentations in general on the streets to not only bring in new realtor prospects, but also deliver that education without even having to be there. So that brings us up to mobile. So as we continue to go through mobile, you can see that this is available on all kinds of devices, and people are leaving this out at open houses. They're bringing it to the open house to have that first conversation with the realtor partner. And then don't forget, you can record video direct from your mobile device. So with that said, I've got a couple of slides here showing you how you can record video and such, but I really do want to pass this over to Dan for just a couple of minutes here so that he can talk about some of the not only strategies he uses with videos, but how is he doing this in the marketplace? I mean, Dan's in a very different marketplace where there's very limited resources out there. So you've got hundreds and hundreds of borrowers. So Dan, if you would, just let me introduce you, Dan Keller, everybody. Dan, come on in and give us a little wisdom, if you would.
Hey, what's going on, Jacob?
Hey, Dan, thanks for joining us.
No, thanks for having me this morning. No, it's an honor to be here, and I just if I can share a couple of nuggets that I'm using up here in Seattle, it's a little different up here in right now versus in the past couple of years. We've got, I'm sure I know agents are doing open houses. I see the open houses signs. As far as a lender, me personally, I'm not going out really sitting and working open houses. I've changed my strategy. I have worked a couple in the past couple of months with some of my top agents, and it was great. I mean, there's a lot of traffic through, kind of chaotic. So what I've done is I've kind of changed my approach and my strategy, leveraging the Mortgage Coach app. And so what I'm still making the open house flyers for my agents using Mortgage Coach, using the Mortgage Coach Edge presentation link. So I'm sending them the link. It's co-branded. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to keep using the less is more strategy, keeping the videos down to not a 2 to 3 minute presentation on the loan options, but more specifically, like, use these loan options kind of as a guide, as some of your options for purchasing this home, but then understanding that your strategy matters in today's market. Being fully underwritten or pre-underwritten matters. You've got to compete. If you're planning on putting down a lower down payment, less than 10%, you need to come in with some type of competitive advantage, being able to close sooner, a quick close, or being able to have your financing 100% secured. Up here it's crazy, Jacob. Up here, the contracts that I'm seeing, they're doing a pre-inspection, so they're waiving their inspection, they're waiving their financing, they're waiving their appraisal, and they're doing everything to win these offers. And so it's just that important, that much more important, so that consumers understand their options. They understand how important the strategy matters now, and Mortgage Coach is helping lead the way for that with my clients.
Awesome. Hey, Dan, can you go in a little bit more in depth and just tell me, how do you have that conversation with your realtor partners? How are you positioning these apps? I mean, I know you're talking about, what kind of tools that you can use, but what's the real crux of when you're talking to an agent? Maybe it's the first time, maybe you've been working with them for a while, but how are you positioning the Mortgage Coach with them?
Yeah, a lot of because I'm prospecting like crazy, so a lot of them are the newer agents that I'm working with. Some of my older agents, seasoned agents in regards to our relationships, they get that I use technology. That's one of their selling points, that, hey, Dan presents loan options in a way that is super informative, and he takes an educative approach. But with newer agents that I'm going after, what I'm saying is from a lending standpoint, here's how I'm presenting loan options to your clients. But here's the value add. I'm going to send your clients are going to be fully underwritten. They're going to have an idea. They're going to be fully informed in which what program, what loan options they have available, what program they're actually going to choose. But here's the thing: they're going to be fully pre-underwritten, and then they're going to get a pre-approval letter. But they're also going to get more from me. I'm going to reach out to the listing agent. I'm going to call the listing agent and let them know how prepared our clients are and how much they love the home. And I'm also going to share the link that I put together for our clients with the listing agent that matches up with the pre-approval letter, that matches up with their offer as well. So I'm sharing more along, again, your strategy matters in today's market. So I'm sharing the strategy in whole with my agents. And when I call the listing agents, I'm winning over listing agents today because they're like, you know what, we normally have to call, when we're reviewing offers, we normally have to call lenders, and lenders aren't picking up their phone. So the fact that you actually called us 15 minutes or 20 minutes in advance of us reviewing offers is huge, and it's working. It doesn't work every single time because you're going to get beat. You're going to win every game, but it's working the majority of the time. A lot of our clients are winning their offers.
Now, Dan, you're really the king of video. I mean, I've seen a lot of your videos, and they're really solid. You have a great flow, great meter, very personable. But one of the things that I know that really sold me on how you do your videos is the cross-selling of the realtor partner. Can you speak a little bit to that?
Yeah, it's super important. I think it's the most important thing us as loan officers can do. And again, I'm using the less is more. I'm not talking as much anymore. I'm trying to keep my videos less than 1 minute. For a purpose, and using the new mobile feature that you guys have where you can upload video from your mobile device, so huge. It's clear. The audio and the video, the visual aspects of the new app are awesome. And so what I'm doing is I'm putting together the report in my office where obviously I'm pricing it out properly, completing the closing cost detail part of the Mortgage Coach Edge presentation. And then what I'm doing is I'm shooting the video out of the office. And it's a quick video saying, hey, this is Dan Keller over at New American Funding. I wanted to put together this report for you to view so you clearly understand your options, your agent. Make sure you share this with your agent, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, so they understand exactly what you're looking for. And now keep in mind, we've already discussed this, but if a home is listed at $550,000 and your budget's $550,000, that's probably not the right home you're looking for because those homes are selling for $575,000, $600,000. And so I'm trying to bring in the agent so that they can see that and go, gosh, man, you're spot on with that. Great message, great information. And then again, I learned this on another Mortgage Coach coaching call where we use the Mortgage Coach videos, the Mortgage Coach Edge presentation throughout the transaction. So once they've reached mutual or during kind of the negotiation periods where there may be an escalation, I'm revising the report, revising the video. So that's kind of hybrid-wise, that's how I'm using Mortgage Coach in today's market. I learned a long time ago, the market should not determine your income. Your marketing should determine your income or your success. And so it changes. The market's going to change your strategy, and you got to evolve with it.
Excellent, excellent. I love it, and especially in such a tight market that you're in. I mean, finding new niches to really provide value where you do have hundreds of people looking at the same house. So it's not so much about attracting so many people to come and look at the property, but it really is about building that education, that value proposition that you can offer to your partners, and certainly cross-selling them the entire way through and keeping them part of the process through every point of it. Some of you out there may not realize, but there's a function inside your Edge that allows you to automatically have your realtor partners notified when one of these presentations is viewed. So I'll show you that when we get a little bit further in here and we get into the nuts and bolts on how to create the open house presentation. But I did get a couple of other things from, Dave actually reached out to quite a few people to try and get just some ideas, some strategies that are working for them, and some of them can be on the call today, some of them couldn't. I'm going to be bringing Jeff Nunley in just a few minutes here so that he can talk about it as well. But I did want to read just a quick email that I got from Alan White. He's I've known Alan for a long time. He's out of Houston, Texas, and Alan and I from a training perspective, we kind of went back and forth for a long time, just really getting him to transition from our old software to our new software, and he really took the bull by the horns. And I got to tell you, he's using this as a prospecting tool. So he's actually attending realtor open houses where they showcase their listings to other realtors, and he's meeting realtors he's never met before, and sometimes he's actually preparing the open house flyers for their listing and then bringing it in when he goes in there with him. But he had a quick testimonial for me. He says last Thursday. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit of feedback there. There we go. He said, last Thursday I went to the open house of a realtor that I didn't know, and I didn't have time to prepare a flyer for the property, but in the course of our conversation I demonstrated the open house flyer and the total cost analysis on my tablet. She was impressed and expressed her desire to work with me in the future. She has a number of lease clients whose leases are coming due, and we're going to prepare rent versus own analyses for them to show them the benefits of home ownership while rates are still low and homes are so affordable. So kind of like the global tie-in. I mean, he started with open house presentations. He's using it to talk to the realtor partner, but he's also showing what other kind of value can I deliver for our mutual clients. A specific case for Alan was he's working with somebody that's doing lease clients. So he's trying to transition them into, why would you bother doing this? Let's talk about home ownership. Let's if you want to do a lease to own, that's fine, but let's talk about home ownership, and let's talk about how much more valuable that can be for you as a borrower versus continuing to throw money at your landlord. So Alan couldn't be on the call today, but shout out for Alan White. Thanks for sharing that with me. I really do appreciate it. But I know, Dan, you have a hard stop coming up pretty soon here, so I do want to make sure that I get Jeff Nunley in here, because I know you guys have had quite a bit of conversation in the past. Let's see. Oh, it looks like Jeff might have jumped off the call. Okay.
No, I'm here.
Oh, you're there. Oh, great. Thanks, Jeff. Oh, Marcy must have promoted you. Thanks. All right. Well, Jeff, welcome to the call. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for agreeing to come in here at the last minute. It's always a pleasure to have you on board, and certainly I know you and Dan have met before, but you guys both have some incredible insights, and I am bowing to your wisdom here. Would you mind sharing a little bit for me?
Well, sure. I use the open house presentation. I kind of work differently. I tend to go out to 3 or 4 open houses a weekend, and I make sure I have a flyer prepared before I go out to each one. Some we do video, and what we've done recently is we've made sure that I have a pad that I can actually share the video on the pad, but we always make sure to have something that clients can walk away with too, so we always bring in the flyers as well. One of the things I haven't done yet, I'm hoping to do, if I get a chance, is to actually walk in the presentation and record the video from my cell phone with the new app, with the Pro feature, with the realtor in the house at the same time. So I'm waiting, haven't had an opportunity to do that yet, but I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that, if you don't have a camera-shy realtor like I've run into a couple of times already, it works out pretty well, I think, or could. But we try and make sure that we are giving them something tangible they can hand to people who walk in the door, because, for the most part, and I talk to realtors all the time, they've been given this huge blank canvas for marketing purposes, this whole house, and usually a realtor has something about the house and a plate of cookies, and that's about it. And it's really hard to engage somebody who's walking in the door when all you can do is ask them if they want a cookie or have a flyer about the house they're already in that has photos of things they can already see. So having, whether it's an edge flyer that they can take with them, open house flyer, whether it's information on maybe a product, maybe other listings in the area, being able to have some material there that is potentially engaging to somebody is extremely important. And that's why mobile's so great, because the client can actually get in and you have to spend a little time with them to say, here, take a look at this on this mobile device, answer their questions. The client's going to be there. It's sticky. They're going to be there when they are using that tablet, and stick around with you, ask other questions, review it. They're going to be there near the real estate agent rather than just walking the house with the agent following behind going, this is the bathroom. Yeah, I kind of figured that. There's a toilet there, right? So it gives you something really tangible to talk to a client about. We've had great success. The realtors like to put out the flyers. We usually get a few minutes with them. We're in a market where it's busy, but it's not so busy that there's not typically some lulls throughout that period. And I usually get pretty lucky and at least catch a lull at some point where I have the opportunity to talk to them. And some of these people I know too. I'm just adding value. I'm going out saying hi. I try and bring some other things too. We have some pretty cool plastic cups. We have some other swag, and so it's kind of fun to be able to give a little gift when you get out there as well.
Very nice. Now, do you find that when you're actually visiting with the realtors while you're out there, do you find that you're showing them the mobile experience? I know that you're leaving a handout, you're leaving one behind, but do you find that you're really driving through the mobile experience when you're talking to them?
More and more, I really am. Like I said, now I'm bringing my wife actually got a free tablet with a data pack, so I didn't have an excuse anymore to not go out and actually show something that was more than just my cell phone or try and create some sort of hotspot on my iPad. So now I can take her 9-inch pad out and show the presentation. So we've been doing a lot more of that too.
Very
and
nice.
That's been fun.
Awesome.
The other
Jeff,
thing that I've done,
I was going to say, I'm sorry, Jeff.
Oh, go ahead.
One last thing. I know you haven't had a chance to dive into actually recording the video on the mobile yet, and certainly I can't wait to see what your first ones are going to look like. But you know, I have seen your other presentations, and they are phenomenal. You know, the education that you deliver coming across is you know, it's unmatched. So I'd love to, Jeff, when you get the chance, when you have the chance to try this mobile experience, trying actually recording the video, I'd love to see your first one, just so I can see what it looks like and maybe offer some feedback.
No, that'd be great. I'd really appreciate that. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun with it. I think that as we get out and see realtors and we can hold that thing up there and you know, be able to do something together, I think it'll be a lot of fun. We'll probably start with somebody that that we know is a little bit of a ham that I have a relationship with that I can get out and actually do it with. But we'll get better at introducing it and getting more people involved too, because it's just a lot of fun. It's just it gives them something that they're going to want to share. Right? Versus, you know, I can give them this open house flyer. I can give them a link that has my video and my take on the house and information on financing. But how much more likely are they to share that video when they're in it?
Right. Right. Absolutely.
And so that's the goal, is make sure that you give something that they're going to want to share, and you just increase you magnify your impact in your market.
So Dan, one question before you go. I know you've got a hard stop here, but kind of had an idea that bounced off of what Jeff just said. Is how do you feel about using the mobile app and just kind of doing like a selfie type of pose with you and the realtor doing the video together? What do you think of that?
Well, I mean, Jeff, I love these calls because I use them kind of as a mastermind. This is huge. Just listening to Jeff talk, I had a really phenomenal idea. I've got scribbles all over my desk right now on this, but Jeff's mentioned he hasn't done this yet, but I'm going to do this immediately, where you put together an open house flyer using the Mortgage Coach Edge, and what you do is maybe 2-3 days before the open house, as you go and you either meet the agent out at the property or you meet the agent in the office, and you do a video with the agent, and you talk about the open house, you talk about the property, you talk about the community, maybe share some market stats in the community, or you let the agent know, hey, I'm popping by your open house on Saturday. I'd like to shoot a short video with you, put you on the open house flyer so that you can share it, so that your sellers can share it, but I'd like you to maybe put together some market stats, property details. But I mean, this is huge. I'm actually going to start implementing that into my business right away. I think that's a phenomenal tactic.
Right on, right on. Well, Dan, I know you got to get jamming. Thanks for joining us. I do appreciate you being on this call. And Jeff, always great to hear your insights on this. And hopefully, we've given some people some ideas on this call about some new and interesting concepts that they can use not only the mobile app for, but you know, just really being able to share this information and you know, cross-selling that realtor partner at every single level. But Dan, thanks again. I know you got to go. Thanks for joining us. And Jeff, thanks for jumping in. I do appreciate it. It's always a pleasure. So I guess with that, Thank you, Jeff. So I guess with that, let's go ahead and continue forward. One of the things I do want to do is I want to get into the nuts and bolts on how you prepare these. There's been some questions coming through in the box where people are asking, just little things about like, hey, my open house flyer doesn't look like this. We did a release not too long ago, maybe a couple of weeks ago, where we updated the open house presentations. So you may want to just check your app stores for any updates. If you're on iOS, on Apple, you're just going to go to the App Store. If you're on an Android device, you're going to go to your Google Play Store, and you should be able to, either search Mortgage Coach, you'll see an update button, or, if you go into the app, it should prompt you to update when you open it. However, go back and check the store real quick just to make sure you have the latest version, and you should get this one. All right, so let's go into nuts and bolts on how to put these together. Now, we've had a couple of conversations about, where do you start? Where do you start doing this? And, for some people, they're actually starting by just walking into the open house. For others, they're doing kind of a broad search on things like Realtor.com. Maybe they're, going on Redfin, whatever sites they like to use, and they're just finding listings that are out there and just kind of target marketing people that are nearby so that they can, deliver this experience for them. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you the nuts and bolts on exactly how to do this. So there we go. So in your Edge presentation, anytime you're doing an open house flyer, you're always going to be starting with a new partner. The difference between client and partner inside Edge is that your clients are the ones where you're doing the total cost analysis, you're doing the rent versus own, whereas your partners, these are the co-branded ones that allow you to do the open house presentation and the co-branded seller buy-down flyer. Now, I know the seller buy-down flyer is not getting a whole lot of use right now. Rates are still really low, but as we start continuing to see rates go up, you might want to check that out because I think you'll find that it's going to help with distressed properties or properties that have just been on the market for a little too long. But for today's discussion, we're going to do a brand new partner. And what I've done is I just went on to Realtor.com and I searched in my area here in Irvine. And you can see I've found this place. It's a 2.5 bath. I've got an address for it. I've even got a name for the listing agent, which is nice. I've even got I can email the agent direct here, but I can also go to the agent's website. Now, I would always encourage you when you're using this for prospecting. And oh, my screen wasn't moving. Sorry about that, guys. So thank you, Diane. I appreciate you telling me. So if you guys could let me know you're seeing my screen move again. All right, great. Thank you very much. Okay, so you're seeing Realtor.com, and what I've done is I just did a basic search in my area just to see what kind of properties are out there, and I found one here at 625. So I've got a lot of information about this property already that I can be putting into my Edge presentations. So I'm going to take and I'm going to copy things like my property address, and I'm going to jump over to Edge, and I'm actually going to put that in the friendly name field, because this is going to be an open house for that particular property. Now, my realtor partner that I'm trying to contact here is Anna Walsh. So I'm going to go ahead and put her name into Edge. And then oftentimes they do have a lot of information here. We do have a phone number, which is great. You notice we don't have an email address here. I'd probably want to do a little bit of searching around on social media to see if I can find that email address, but most of them do have these contact forms instead of an email. So this would be one where I'd recommend either show up at the open house with this completed presentation and just start the process, or give them a call, like Dan was talking about before. Hey, I'd like to meet with you before this open house so that we can shoot a video together around this and really, actually deliver some value around what the market conditions are and some prompting to your clients and, potentially my clients, so that we can make sure they've got the best education possible for when they're making this decision. So I'm going to go ahead and capture what I can. I do have a phone number here, and we'll jump back over to Edge, put that phone number in. Now, referred by, this one usually, unless you're actually working with a referral partner that's referred you to this person, you're probably not going to find this too terribly useful. Usually I put where I found it. So I found it on Realtor.com. Now, this is a Realtor partner, so I'll go ahead and choose Realtor. And I'm going to copy this address again because I know I'm going to need it. And as I continue forward, it's going to ask me for basic property information. So I've got that. And let's see what our 92614, okay, perfect. Now the show on map feature, this is really just for you. This is to show you where this property is relative to other things that you're aware of in the city. So for instance, you want to know whether it's close to certain school areas. You want to know whether it's close to a mall. Maybe it's close to a railroad track. These are things that you should know about the property. You can certainly show it on the map to find out, but I will tell you this map doesn't show up on your presentation. So if you already know a little bit about the area, don't sweat it. You can actually continue going forward. Now next we're going to get into the property features. So the asking price, square footage, number of bedrooms and baths, and we can go and find that on our listing. You can see that our asking price $625. So I will jump over and put that in. Square footage, let's see here, 1422. And beds and baths, this was a two and a half bath, 3 bed. Okay, great. And then listing link, this is really just where you captured this information in case you need to get back to it. So for me, that's this link up here on the browser bar. So I'm going to copy that and I'm going to jump over to Edge and just paste that in there. Now I may never use this link again. It's really just so if I need to get back to that listing, I can get back there. Now more features. This is probably the only part of it that takes a little time because you got to hunt around a little bit on the property information to kind of figure out what's there. I mean, we know the beds and baths, but we also know things like if we scroll down a little bit more, we got things like vaulted ceilings. We've got granite counters. We have a 2-car garage, we have a pool and a spa. So these are all the things that I want to put in there. Fireplace, forced air heating, central air. And when we go into our Edge features, you'll see that these are mostly represented here, and then there's custom features down at the bottom. So I'm going to check the ones that I am aware of right now. All right, not too bad. All right, and then I'm also going to put in some custom items. So make sure to check the boxes anytime you're using custom items. So we got vaulted ceilings. This one is in Irvine USD. And if we jump back over there, we should see a couple more things that will probably be pretty palatable here. That's right, granite counters. Let's make sure and include that. Okay, that's a pretty good smattering of property details. So once I'm finished with the features, I'm going to continue forward. And now I've got to grab some images. And this one is going to be property images. For right now, you just need to upload one property image. So I'm going to go back to my listing here, and I'm going to click on the image here so it enlarges. And you're going to see it opens up in a separate player for you. And you can choose whichever images you want. There's certainly other images. So you can see there's our granite counters if we wanted to show that. We could show, outdoor views and such. Usually the front door view is probably going to be the best one to use. And the easy way to capture these is just right-click on that image and then do Save Image As. And I'm going to save it to my desktop, and I will just call this one New House. And then when I jump back over into Edge, I can now browse for that file I just saved. So I'm going to browse for it. And let's go back to my desktop here, and I'll find my new house image and hit open. And once you do that, it pops it in there for you. Now, I would highly advise don't make any modifications to the picture name or the description. This is really, you'll see when we get later on in the presentation, you're going to need to select this image to be the one that you're using. That's why we give you multiple image slots to upload, is if you want to change the image at any given time, you certainly can. You can go and select that when you get to the presentation screen. But if you do something like you get rid of this picture name, you're going to find that it doesn't have a name when you get to the selection area, and it can be a little confusing. So my advice is upload the image and then leave the picture name and the description exactly as they are. Now you want to put in some financing options. And now this part is completely up to you in terms of what kind of financing you want to put together. Maybe you're looking at very low down payment options. So I'll have my FHA 3.5% down. And if you've got templates in here, that makes it a lot easier. You can see that I've got some templates already classified. And when I stored my templates, I stored numbers in front of them. So this is kind of a little light bulb for some of you here. If you want to store your templates in an order that makes sense to you, put numbers in front of them. It'll automatically group them the way you want them. Now you can see here, because I had a template, I'm already set. It's done everything for me, the down payment, it's done the interest rate, and certainly I'd want to modify this if it was different. But I've got my term, it's selected the correct upfront premium, and then as I continue through, I've already got my closing cost template built into that product template, so it's all here. I've got my upfront MIP already financed in. And then I've even got my hazard and property taxes, everything down to my monthly mortgage insurance. And all my variables are already set there because this was part of a product template. So if you don't have your product template set up, especially for things like your regular FHA loans, VA loans, maybe it's conventional with MI, conventional without MI, those kind of things are very important to have preset so you don't have to do all the legwork every single time. Now my next step is to add another product, and maybe this is just a conventional 3% down. And just to save time, I'm going to copy that FHA, and I'm going to change it to a conventional by simply changing the upfront premium. We'll change our down payment, and we'll say we can get them just slightly higher rate on that. Fees are already in there, so I don't need to mess with those, but I do need to do something about my mortgage insurance because this is conventional and it's going to have a different factor. This one's probably going to be about 1%, and it does not need to carry for the life of the loan. So now I've got two solid products in here, and I can continue forward. Now certainly if I wanted to, I could create additional products, but remember, this is just showing a snapshot of the monthly payments. So when you're looking at these, don't get too in depth on looking at long-term analysis for the open house presentation. You're not going to see the long-term. Now we need to put in additional information about our realtor partner. Now what I did is I just Googled her, and I found her. She's Anna Walsh, and you can see she's with Realty One Group. So I will go back to my Edge. And she didn't list a fax, but she's got some numbers on there. She's got her office phone and a cell phone, so that's good news. Actually, let's grab the cell phone. Now, I don't have her email address. Now, this is one blaring hole in my presentation that I would need to find out. Like I said earlier, I'd probably want to either call this person up or do a little bit more research online, check out their LinkedIn pages, check out their Facebook pages. There's all kinds of areas where you can find additional information about these people. But I do see that she does have her licensing here. So I'll copy that, paste that into the license fields, and her website is definitely there. Now, street address, this is completely up to you. Most people really aren't that concerned about what the partner's street address is, and I will tell you that this is one of those areas where if you want to, you don't necessarily have to enter it in. I might even suggest using the street address field as kind of a tagline. So something like best realtor in Irvine. And then now it's time to collect headshots and logos. And the good news is her website has everything we need. So there's one. We'll save the image as, and we'll see if that's perfect. Agent photo, that'll work. So I'll save that one. And then I'm going to browse for that. And now I've got her photo in there. Now her logo might be a little tough, so I might actually want to do an additional search for this because you can see that this is actually a link right here. Some of you may have a tool called Snagit, or maybe you're using the snipping tool inside Windows 7. If you're doing that, this is the easy way because now you can just drag boxes around whatever you want to capture. I would highly recommend you get one of these tools if you don't have it. And then I can save this file as an image. So I'll do save as. And I'm just going to call this logo 1. And when I get back into Edge, I'm just going to browse for that one I saved. And there's our logo 1. So now I've got her logo and her photo in here. This one is almost ready to roll. So as I continue forward, I'm going to leave it at open house. I do have the ability to check or uncheck products as I see fit. So completely up to you. But as you continue forward, we're going to have things like the presentation title. What do you want to call this? Now, oftentimes when you're looking for what kind of title to use on this, check out the listing because the listing always has good little snippets and phrases that are just kind of loaded in here. But okay, so we know this is in the Woodbridge. Okay, so That's a good title right there. Magnificent and extensively remodeled townhome. So I will copy that and just slide that over. Now the pricing label, this is asking you, what do you want to call the price? Is this an asking price? Is this a list price? Is this a sales price? Matter of fact, you could do something like listed at. And then notes, this is actually twofold. You can use it for notes about the property, but you can also use it for notes about what the payment entails. So I usually put something like payments shown include all estimated taxes and insurance. Now our next step when we continue forward is we're going to select our property image. Now remember I said if we erase that the name of the picture that we uploaded, we might have some confusion. What would happen is there would be nothing here, so you wouldn't know you need to select it. But you do need to left click on that so that it does select your image and will put it into your presentation. Now finally, last step is we want to make sure and put a quote date on this. So it usually defaults to today's date, or it'll at least highlight today's date for you, but you do have to select it. You certainly want to be notified when the report is viewed. If you're using the click to call features, you can enable the call buttons on here. But your next step now is to generate the link. Now let's take a look at what this link actually looks like in the browser, and then we're going to go over to mobile and we'll discuss what that looks like. So you can see we've got our two options against each other. We've got our property image up at the top left, quote dates, we've got payment streams for both loans shown, fee detail for both loans shown. Our property features are over on the right here. We do have a breakdown showing on our graphics that indicate the difference between the principal and interest payment and the monthly costs. So this is a great point of explanation for your realtor partners and for borrowers that are looking at this is, some people are going to be quoting you P&I payments. I'm showing you the entire payment. And, we've gotten some feedback from some people where they're in areas where the taxes are extraordinarily high. And that actually becomes a great education point because now this orange area, if your taxes are really high, is going to get a lot bigger relative to that blue area. So just something to be able to point out to your clients so that you're giving that full transparency. Now we've got our branding on the left side here, and then we've got our realtor partners branding on the right side. We still have our disclosures available. These are the call buttons I was telling you about. And then certainly this can be shared across social media. Again, refer to your social media policy from your company if you're going to share these on social media. These can be printed and these can be saved as PDFs. Now, when we're talking about what this looks like on a mobile device, and let me bring up my mobile for you. And give me just a second to get this guy going, and I will show you. Okay, that's coming into view. Excellent. All right, so hopefully you guys have all seen what the mobile app looks like. Now, you can see I'm showing it on an iPad right now, and if I wanted to actually show this particular one, I'm going to hit the share button over here, and this part of the link right here, at the very end of it, 16 TKDA, if I was to just type that little part on the end of this, that'll take me to this presentation. But what we're talking about today is really a little bit more than that. We've got some new information that we can enter in here. By simply going up to this little silhouette guy up at the top left, this is where we get to all the new features in the app. And you can see that as we're looking at this, we're now able to see our partners, our clients, and then we can see the performance on how many views, how many reports we've done today. So I'm going to go into partners because that's where mine was located. And there's my Anna Walsh open house presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and click on her. I'm going to choose my new house flyer. And oops, I must not have clicked on it direct. There we go. And then now I can do things like I can view the presentation, but more importantly, I can put a video on here. So you don't have to do it direct from your desktop anymore. And you can imagine if you're on your phone, you got a selfie stick, something like that, like we were talking about earlier when Dan and Jeff were talking, getting the realtor to record it with you. I mean, how cool is that? So all you do is hit video, and there we are. Hi, everybody. So you want to center your eyes in where your camera is, and on my iPad, it's in a little bit different place, so maybe I should put it up to the top here so I'm looking up at you. But there's a little recording button up here in the top, and you just hit the record button, and then it starts recording, and it starts counting down your recording. Now, I know I'm sideways right now, there we go. So it starts counting down your recording, and all you have to do is when you're done with your recording, hit that stop button again. And then you have some prompts down here at the very bottom that ask you if you want to retake it, if you want to use the video, or if you just want to play it back. Now I'm going to hit use video. And this is going to actually update for me in a second. There it goes. It says you can wait till the upload finishes. Video has been uploaded. Now, this is going to take a few minutes for the conversion process. Remember, this video tool is actually one of the things about it is available on multiple devices. So you guys have seen it inside the browser. You've seen it on your mobile device, whether it's iOS or Android. Well, we have to do some work in the background to convert it so it is able to be viewable on those devices. So just remember, if you've just recorded this video on your mobile, give it a few minutes, probably 4 to 5 minutes for it to finish the conversion process so that it's available in the browser and on all mobile devices. And you can certainly hit done here. And we're all set there. Now, if I want to actually just go in and check on what my presentation looks like, I can go to View Report, and there we go. So I hit I understand. Now, right now I don't have my video completely converted yet, so otherwise we'd be seeing that, but you can see that the presentation itself looks significantly different than it used to. We've got our product titles up at the top here. We've got our branding on the left, our Realtors branding on the right, and then there's a couple of buttons that people can press to get to things like the property features, and they can get to the financing, so payment options. That takes them into the 2 different options that we're showing them. And in fact, they can even drill down into the payment stream on these if they wanted to see them. Another point of education for your realtor partners, I would say a good chunk of them are not aware. They might have heard that MI has to carry for the life of the loan on FHA loans, but they don't realize it declines every year based on the outstanding balance. So while it may be a big scary thing for them right now, a little bit of education goes a long way on this one. All right, so let's see if we can take a couple of questions, and we've got about 13 minutes left. I do see that there's a lot of questions in the box. So let's see, Ed's question says, on the flyer displayed on the webinar, there's wording under there that talks about the home. And I'm sorry, Ed, can you rephrase that for me? I'm not sure what you're asking there. I can't quite get it. Can you rephrase that, Ed? Sorry about that. Bruce's question, is there a video on how to set up templates? Absolutely. So anytime you want to learn anything about Edge, all you have to do is hit help up here in your Edge. This is going to take you to our support center. We log out so it looks like what it does when you guys are in here. And in our knowledge base, just type in templates. And you can see we can search right here. There's how to create and use fee templates. And if you hit the more button, this will give you a lot more. How to build your purchase arsenal templates. Those are the ones that I was showing you earlier where I was showing you product templates. And matter of fact, you can even go a little further here. If you wanted to just isolate product templates, and let's drill down a little bit further. Now, how to create and use templates is probably your best one, but if you wanted to go down into these a little bit further, there's things like, if you go into advanced topics, we've got how to create and use fee templates. We've got everything about the different types of purchase templates you want to use, how to copy templates. So all of these are videos, and they're very short videos. So we try and keep them 5 to 7 minutes at the most. Check these out. These are always going to be great items for you to study up on. Product templates, just to give you kind of an overview on what product templates can have, a product template is the entire loan, whereas a fee template is just the fees. But a product template can have a fee template inside of it. So very, very key. You do want to create your fee templates, but create your product templates too, and then associate the appropriate fee templates. That's going to give you that twofold area where you can make sure that when you select a particular type of template, it's going to have all the details you absolutely need in there. Brad's comment, I think if you click on e-contact here, it would open an email and you can copy the email address from that. Brad, I actually looked at it before the call. It doesn't work. So it asks you to fill out an app. So where did I put it? Oh, email us, there it is. So it just brings you to a form, and unfortunately it does not show her email address. So I need to do a little bit more research to find out what that was. Shebel's question, and yeah, I did get this feedback before. He says, invariably, clients want to see the breakdown of the payment. When will this feature be available? So one of the things I was showing in the app here is it's actually already here to some degree. So we've got separation between the P&I and the monthly costs. And Shebel, you were the one I was speaking about where I know you're in a very high tax area, and it makes a lot of sense to be able to show a full breakdown in there. And I will tell you, now that we're finished with the UI part of open house presentation, it frees us up a little bit more to add some additional bells and whistles here. So we certainly have that as a suggested new feature, and we've got a ticket in for you. So Pamela's question, what do you do with this once you've made it if you don't know the realtor? So a couple of things you can do here. One, what Alan White was talking about in the very beginning, he was talking about he actually just shows up at the open house and, you know, introduces himself, shows his presentation on his mobile device and says, here, look, this is the kind of stuff I can offer. And then like we were talking about with Jeff and Dan, you know, we can actually sit there and record the video with the realtor partner. But it's all about, you know, what do you actually say to that realtor? How do you speak to them about it? Well, you're one of the 100 people that's running through that open house, right? But you're the one carrying an iPad. And invariably, when you talk to that realtor partner, the conversation strikes up in that, you know, what do you do? And you're going to introduce yourself as a mortgage originator, and you're going to talk about the kind of value propositions that you have with your realtor partners. So, you know, one of the things you're going to tell them is, look, here's one of these co-branded presentations that we can do together. This is shareable. You can put it on social media. You can print it out. You know, I can put it on my sites for you. You can put it on your sites. But it's a great way to just get the information out about the property. But beyond that, let me show you some of the other tools that I can offer our mutual clients. You know, we're not just trying to close a house with them. We want to be a trusted mortgage advisor for life. So if I can show you a way to ensure that your clients come back to you because of working with me, would you be interested in doing that? So I would highly advise, when you get the chance, go to our YouTube channel. And let me log out so you guys can see it here. Go to our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/mortgage coach. And there are a bunch of playlists up here. Now, one of them is all about realtors, so 5 realtor strategies to maximize referrals. Jeremy Forcier shared 5 questions to ask realtor partners. Do a search for that and check those out. Matter of fact, those are in here in this playlist. But we have numerous playlists with all kinds of good stuff in here. Realtor strategies from the Gaylord Hanson teams. These are the ones that are going to give you, you know, some sample verbiage you can use for when you're talking to people. Some sample structure about how you're delivering your value proposition. But check out our YouTube channel. There's so much in here, and we try and snip it down to very small segments so it'll help. Oh, Ed was telling me that on the original open house there was wording describing the home right under the bedroom and bath section. Thanks. Yeah, I did miss that. I could have probably used that that verbiage when I was looking for a tagline there. Kelsey's question, can you upload more than one photo per presentation to show a few different areas of the home? You can, but only one will show on the presentation at any given time. So back inside Edge, if we were to go back into our images area where we can upload up to 3 images, let's say I uploaded another one, and I think I have another house here that I can probably use. I don't have a house picture there. Okay, well, I'll use an image of this guy. So now I've got 2 images. I've got the front of the house, and let's say that this was maybe the back of the house, a different view or something like that. When we get to actually preparing the presentation and we choose the image we want, we can only choose one at a time. So I would need to choose the image I want in that presentation. But I will tell you that you can always come back in here and choose a different one at any given time. So while my current analysis is showing this house property, if I go back into my Edge here and select the other image, as soon as I hit one of these right or left arrows, this actually triggers a save inside Edge. And this presentation, if we were to refresh it now, will actually show a different image. So you can see, now I've got a different image up at the top left. And of course, the same thing would happen in the mobile device. So certainly it's very dynamic. You can change things around as you see fit. We are considering, you know, adding more area for you guys to have multiple images showing at one time, or maybe even cycling them. So that might be coming down in the pipe in the near future. But certainly we do hear it, and we want it to be the best for you. All right, let's see. There's a couple more questions, and then we'll go ahead and wrap for today. Hajir found found her email address. Thanks, Hajir. I kind of thought it might be first name at her domain. So thanks, Hajir. So what Hajir did is just looked up. You can kind of deduce if you look at the website. She's at walshrealtor.com, and you kind of know that her email is probably Anna@walshrealtor.com. So thanks, Hajir. Great point out there. But oftentimes when they have one of these vanity type email addresses, you're going to find their email is probably first name at vanityemailaddress.com. So good poll there, Hajir. Kristen's question, suppose we have our product templates done, then Mortgage Coach does an upgrade that may slightly change the format on FHA, for example. Does that automatically update in the template? So when we update, we don't update what's in your templates. And in fact, we don't actually enforce any guidelines at all. So as things change, like say for instance last year or 2 years ago when FHA mortgage insurance changed, that's one of those things where we actually did go in there and we changed the factor. So if you had an FHA 3.5% and you used to have that 1.25 factor on it, we went in and changed it for you to 0.85 because we knew that across the board high LTV FHA loans should have that factor. So we do try and help you out as much as possible on that. But one of the things about Edge is because it's so dynamic, you're not locked into doing anything a specific way. So changing one might not do as well for changing all. So I will tell you that as new features are added or new components are added, we don't modify anything that was existing. So if you had particular templates with information in them, you would need to go back and update those to include any new information. Now, one of the things we did do for you is when we changed on our FHA products, when we changed it from being an FHA question up at the top here to selecting the type of upfront premium, if you had FHA equals yes before, we went ahead and put the upfront premium in there for you. So I think that might be what you're leaning on, Christine, but if you could confirm there, we did go ahead and alter that for you so it does match. Melvin's question, I can't get out of the screen for the open house flyer on my iPad. Can you show how to get to the original screen? Absolutely. Let's bring up Reflector again. So what you can do is on your iPad, everything is driven by swipes. So you can certainly hit back up at the top here, and that will take you back. You can also swipe left to right, and that'll take you back to the original screen. So obviously there's other hand gestures you can do to get out of the app. If you do 4 fingers straight up, what it does is it takes you to kind of the task manager on the iPad, and then you could get out and do something else. But you can swipe left and right inside your app, and it'll take you around to the different parts in here. All right, so let's get out of there. All right, a couple more questions. Jeremy's question, can you go back to your iPad view and show what the open house flyer looks like now that the video is formatted? I actually replaced it, but certainly, let's go back there. And I might actually have to type this in, we'll see. Oh, there we go. So that's me down here at the left. All right, there we go, and you can see me turning. But it's actually fairly good resolution. It's a lot better than most of the browser-based cameras are. Now this image up here, remember guys, this was a property image that I replaced, so don't pay any attention to how awful that one looks. But this one on the right here really was my video. So you can see, I'll turn it back around in a second here when I was recording, but it does very good resolution. It looks awesome. So definitely use it. It's a very valuable feature. All right, and then if we want to see what this looks like in the browser, because it's probably done in the browser now, we can hit play message, and there we go. So this is what it looks like in the browser. And you can see me playing around my iPad there, but certainly do a couple of takes on these ones. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. And one thing, Dan, I know he had to jump off the call, but one thing that he'll tell you is, with video, you're not expected to be a videographer. That's not your job. It's not what you do for a living. What you do for a living is you make home buying dreams come true. So when you're looking at how your video looks and you're being, you're scrutinizing it a little too much and you're talking about, man, I had a little bit of slip in the middle of the video, or maybe somebody walked behind me when I was recording, or maybe this happened or that happened. Put it out of your mind. Don't worry about it. It's not important. What the important part is that you made the effort to put a video on a presentation that your borrowers, your realtor partners can share. They're not going to be judging how you look that day. They're not going to be judging if you had a little hiccup in something you said. They're going to be just thoroughly impressed that you even took the time to do this for them. So don't sweat it. Don't browbeat yourself. Another thing I can tell you is if you're scared of video, one thing to remember is the way you look in the mirror, that's exactly how you look on video. The way you look in person, that's exactly how you look on video. So don't worry about it. Everybody looks the same way on video as they do in person. So try and get over that. Create a couple of videos, like Jeff was talking about earlier. Try giving your first couple of videos to people that you're not so concerned about image with. Maybe they're your coworkers, maybe they're your family members, and you just want to show them, hey, check this out and let me know what you think. But I think you're going to find that when they look at them, they're not going to be looking with the same detail you are. I mean, I look at my videos and certainly I feel like I should have done a better job on them, just like you guys do. So don't sweat it though. You just got to get past that in your mind and realize that you're delivering a huge value just by doing that video. Let's see if there's any more questions, but it looks like we're at the top of the hour. Helen's question, when I post to Facebook, it doesn't look inviting. It has the edge info, not the picture. Is there any way we can change that? Yes, Helen, actually. This is another one where I did a video on this not too long ago. There we go. So there's an article here called "How do I edit the images and text when sharing an edge link to Facebook?" You can actually upload a house image for that, Helen. You don't have to use our logo. So feel free to swap out those images as much as you see fit. This one actually is fairly recent. They updated the way you can post and share to Facebook. So I updated my video to show you a workaround for it. But the same concept works for LinkedIn, works for other social media sites as well. But check this out when you get the chance. Just go to the knowledge base and search Facebook, and then check this one, how do I edit the images and text when sharing an edge link on Facebook? That should give you all the details. All right, well, with that said, thanks everybody for the great questions today. I really appreciate everybody sticking around for the whole hour. Certainly want to remind everybody, make sure to share that Ken DeLeon YouTube video. Make sure to share the Simon Sinek one. Very important. Get those out to your realtor partners. It's only going to build bigger value for you. And then make sure to attend all of our trainings. If you haven't seen it, when you're in our knowledge base here, you can access this month's event calendar. And we have altered our events, so you can see we've got our Tuesday calls up at the top here. But every Monday we have an Edge Beginners call. If you haven't attended one of these, you only need to attend one, but you can choose which day you want to attend by clicking this link. On Tuesdays, obviously, we have the calls with Dave Savage or myself in the case of today. On Wednesday, we have a brand new call that we started up last week. It's called Creating the Mobile Mentality, and we do this every Wednesday. Then every Thursday, our support team hosts an open Q&A training call. So you can sign up for all these events. Monday through Thursday, you can get a solid offering on everything. Friday, we'll give you a break. However, there is Mortgage Coach University that runs every day for the first 3 weeks of every month. If you wanted to see the curriculum here, we cover different topics in the morning. They're beginner courses, and then in the afternoon, it's going to be more advanced stuff. So definitely check these out. There's lots of great training available for you. So there's no excuse. Get out there, start creating videos, start creating these open house presentations, get them out to your realtor partners, and make those dreams come true for these new home buyers. With that said, thanks everyone. I appreciate you sticking around. Have a wonderful week if I don't hear from you before then, and we'll see you all on next Tuesday's call. Thanks. Bye-bye.